Hey everyone, my name is Martin. Welcome to my channel, bluebeamplugin.com. Bluebeam plugin is a set of advanced custom columns and calculating formulas that enable you to do everything inside of Bluebeam as far as estimating. You no longer have to export your takeoff to Excel and do the double work. Now all your pricing can be done at the same time as you do the takeoff, so this will save you a lot of time. It's based on the same code as the native custom columns, so the integration is seamless and it's very easy to use. It's available in multiple languages and different currency displays. And the price of this plugin is very low, so if you're an estimator, it can pay for itself before lunchtime, and given how much more productive you're gonna be, it's probably one of the best investments you can make. Let me show you how it all works. As you can see, the Bluebeam plugin comes with different languages and currency displays, and there is also one version that does not have any currency display symbol, just the number itself. So this allows you to use it in other countries. And there are 3 different versions, packs, depending on the region you're in, and you can see what's inside each of those packs that you are purchasing. By using this drop down, it will show you all the screenshots, all the contents of each of the packs. So once you make the selection, you go ahead and check out, and you will receive an email confirmation with the link to any of these 3 files, depending on which version you purchase. So if you go with the dollar English version, you will get to download any of these files. The first thing is the interface profile. This is optional. All you have to do really is to download it to your PC and then open it with Bluebeam, and it will import the layout that I have in this tutorial. There are also 3 different templates for your estimates to send out if you want to use that. And these are the actual 3 PDFs that carry the pricing plugin with it. So same thing, you just have to download it to your computer and open it in Bluebeam, and you will have the custom columns ready to go. Additionally, there's the actual file for the plugin that you can import directly and override the custom columns, or just import and install over into an existing PDF document inside Bluebeam. But the easiest way would be to just download this PDF and open it in Bluebeam, and the custom columns pricing plugin is ready to go. So let's head over to Bluebeam and see how that goes. Alright, so this is the profile setup that I have. I think that's a little bit different is I have this property panel attached on the right. Obviously you can move it to the left, but I just have it set up on the right. You can always change it for yourself. And now we can head over and open any of the PDFs with the custom columns with the pricing plugin. So I'm going to select the English version dollar currency, and we're just gonna double click and open it. So it opens up. This is just one blank page. I've already scaled that to just like random scale. Let's just switch over to the measurements, and here's the properties panel. And if we are to add any markup, this is an Eclipse tool. I'm gonna press and hold the shift button so it's nice and even circle. And when I select it and make sure it's selected properly, this is when you see all the nodes, because not always it is selected. Like if I just draw something, you see the outline, but that's not selection. That just means that your tool is active. So you want to make sure that the markup is actually selected. And then you have this pricing plugin right here on the right, under the properties panel, under custom. It's right here. So if we open the markup list, and I'm going to extend it over the left panel here, you can also do it across the whole screen, but you don't want to cover up your beautiful pricing plugin. But yeah, if you have this any markup selected, you can now enter any pricing to it for instant calculation. So there is no measurements. This is a shape tool, so none of these buttons will work. But the top one is a flat fee amount, and you can do any amount with it. So let's say we want to charge $500, and appearance we're going to general, and we're going to call it, let's say, general conditions. So now we have general conditions, and we're charging $500, and it's already part of your estimate. The next one is count. This is where you can enter any values for your count measurements. So if we were to have any counts, let's say 1, 2, 3, hit escape to finish the tool. We have count of 3. We can say that this is $10 a piece, and now we have $30 calculated in. And let's go ahead and rename this to power outlet. It's a very low price for power outlet, whatever it needs to have, but let's just pretend that electricians are so inexpensive. Next we have area field. So if we grab the area tool, we have this area here, and let's call it flooring. Okay, so we have this flooring. Maybe make it a little bit bigger. Now we have an area of almost 27 square feet, and we can enter an amount. Let's say that's also $10. Let's just keep it consistent. $10 per square foot. Now we have $268 for this whole thing to complete, and as we adjust it, it changes the number as well in real time. The next one is length measurement. So we can grab the poly length measurement. So let's say we draw something like that. Let's just call this crown molding. So we have this crown molding, and under the length field, let's say we charge $20 per linear foot. This whole item now costs $320. So next we have wall area tool, measured with poly length measurement as well. So let's say now we're going to have we're measuring some kind of room, for example. We want to select it. Let's say we call this measurement wall type A. And let's just change the appearance of it so it differs from the other one. Maybe make it a little bit thicker there. So now we have wall type A. It's 41 feet long, but we want to use square footage pricing for this. So we're going to enter, let's say, $10 per square foot, and nothing will happen unless you apply the height for this wall, because now we're measuring the square footage, so we need to know what is the height of this particular wall. So under units, you can use the drop down, or you can head over to the measurement panel, and under depth we're going to enter, let's say, 10 feet high, which is the depth, and now we have the price calculated if we were to charge $10 per square foot based on the actual square footage of this wall. We have the number already calculated in. And then the last one is volume, the volume measurement tool. Select an area, and let's say this is cubic feet in this document, but let's say you charge $15 per cubic foot. And again, nothing happens because this is volume, this is area, and unless you apply depth to it, let's say this is 15 feet high, now you have the volume of it, which is the 382 cubic feet. Again, if you were to resize it, everything changes in real time, but you also have the number. So let's say this represents, I'm going to rename this, and we're going to call this excavation. So these are the examples of how you can use the basic form of entering the pricing. There is also another version that you can separate the material cost from labor cost. I will go over this in just a second, but let me just show you what you can now do with this. Let's say this is an estimate that's on your architectural drawing, you have all these measurements, and what do you do with this now? Well, this is the phenomenal markup list, which is essentially a built-in spreadsheet, and it gives you so many different ways that you can display this information. So at any point you can hit author and you will see the total cost for your items as you added them in markups, because you are the person who added those markups, and they will be under author. So it's very important that in the beginning of the project you go to document properties, and you always start by naming the author, which is usually yourself, so that any of the markups are assigned to you. And now if you sort by author, at the very top you will see a total amount for all of the markups that we've been adding just now. So in this case it's $12,000. Again, if I was to take any measurement and resize it, everything changes. If this is smaller, just like that, you see everything changes. So this is a very powerful step that you can always do as you do takeoff. You can always see where you are in terms of the cost. The main function is the subject line and this minimize button. This is probably the most important feature, the most useful, because now with this everything is nicely grouped together and it gives you the locations. So for example, if I have this flooring here, but let's say I copy this and now I have, let's say, two different rooms that have flooring. Let's say one is smaller, but they're both flooring, and now it tells me right here that I have two locations, and this is the total amount for both of them. If I had, let's say, another location, I copy over, now it tells me I have three locations and the total amount for that. So this button right here, which is the plus minus, is very useful in just making everything neat. These columns represent a different measurement. Whatever you want to be displayed, you can just drag in, drag out, arrange in order that you want. And normally what I do, I when I'm done with an estimate, I organize this so it's all in the visually the way I want it to be. Always minimize so it's nice and concise. And now I just grab a screenshot from here I copy it, and just like that, I have an estimate ready to go. I can take this, paste it onto an email, paste it onto an estimate form, template, anywhere. If I don't want to retype the total cost, I can go back to author, and I can just copy over this right there, resize, hold it together, select the two, copy, and now I have a beautiful table. And what's good about this method, as opposed to exporting everything to Excel, no matter how good you are with Excel, how you are used to doing things in Excel, once you save this document, you estimate, and you need to change something, let's say a month later or even 5 months later, everything is within one document. So you just don't have to do any extra work. And now I have this, and I can open one of the templates that I include in the package, and I can show you and all of this information can be edited. You double click on it, you can save it to your tool chest. If you prefer to still export to CSV file, Excel, you can still do that by just doing the regular export, and when you have everything minimized here, it will show as such in your CSV file. So if you go to export CSV, and whatever default program you have for that, usually it's Excel, in my case it's something different, but it will open up and look basically the same. It's minimized, same order of columns, everything's the same. Alright, so there's another way of entering the costs for your items, is where you separate the material cost from labor cost. So here we have the markups that we had. This is the flooring one. And actually, before I move on to the next topic, I wanted to show you that you can update the pricing in bulk. So if you have an item, several items with the same subject name, you can select all of them and re-enter the pricing, the new pricing, and it's going to update on all of them at once. And you will see it when you select them all individually afterwards. Okay, so now let me demonstrate how we can separate the cost of material and labor. Let's say instead of the simplified unit price, we enter cost of the material alone, say $3 per square foot, and you have one person working on it, charging, or let's say you have two people working on it, they each get paid $30 an hour. That's $60 plus the burden that you have to pay. So let's say it cost your company $85 for this crew per hour. It tells you right here, combined hourly cost for this item crew. So let's say it's 30 plus 30 plus the additional expenses for the workers. So let's say it's $85. And how much are they going to produce of this flooring in 1 hour? So it tells you here 1 hour divided by units accomplished. So let's say they can do 4 square feet in 1 hour. They can install 4 square feet of this flooring in 1 hour. So in order to calculate the labor hours, the labor factor, you go 1 hour divided by 4 square feet equals 0.25. And this is your labor factor, 0.25. And just like that, if you select one of them, it will give you the total for each of them based on the labor cost and material separate. And you can do it all with any other measurement. So let's say you have wall that we were originally charging flat $10 per square feet of the wall area. So instead now let's say the material costs us $2, but we have 2 employees, a crew of 2, and this crew is also $85 altogether. But let's say this crew can produce 7 square foot of this wall area in 1 hour. So we're doing 1 hour divided by 7 that they can produce, and we'll copy this. This is our labor factor. Paste, right click paste, hit enter, and now we have a cost that's all separate and based on the actual labor hours and how much they can produce. The labor hours you can look up in the guidelines, such as RS means, the craftsman book, so you don't really have to guess. This information is already out there. So this makes it easy for you to estimate any job in any trade, even though you may not be familiar with that. So that's how it works when it comes to separating the material cost from the labor hours and labor wages. You can do it either way you want. As far as the flat fee goes, you can also add the flat fee to any of the measurement. It does not have to apply only to a shape like we had originally. You can still have, for example, wall area where you have a very specific calculation based on the labor and the material, but you can still say, it costs you additional $350, for delivery. So not only you have very specific cost for labor, for material, but you also account for delivery that's separate from everything else, and it just gets added. And again, if you want to know where you stand on the project, you hit outer. Maybe you want to move it here. You hit outer, and then it gives you the total amount. And let's say this is a updated version. You updated the pricing. Again, you want to export. You want to minimize. You want to adjust the columns so they look as concise as possible. You grab a screenshot tool. I use the snip paste, which is phenomenal. Copy it, go over to my estimate, paste, delete this one, move it over, resize. I will head back over to the document and grab the total amount. So I will hit Enter, and now I am going to just again grab this, copy, go back to this. This is the total, just like that. If you want to be really nice, you can head over to preferences, change the theme to light, and my computer is very slow. I am doing this on the laptop, so it's only like a Intel i5. Yeah, it's just a little bit slow, but same thing now. We have this in a lighter version, so if someone wants to print it, perhaps they would be a little bit happier with this version, as it's no longer black as it was before. but the numbers, the values are still there, and you have this. So as I mentioned, these prices, this pricing plugin comes with different languages. So now if we were to go to markup list, columns, custom columns, manage columns, now switch over to custom columns, import, and now let's say I had this saved here, so let's say Korean language 1. I can import and overwrite this. The units will stay the same, but the display changes. So now we have everything shown in Korean 1. We have the Korean language again. So the prices don't change, it's only the display that changes. Let's say if we open import Chinese, this is the code. So now we have in the Chinese version, the numbers are all the same, we just have a different display. Now let's just go over the other ones. Import, let's say we have euro in German. Okay. Obviously German is one of the longest letters, words, so it's gonna be a little bit wider. But here we go, we have the euro, we have the German language, just like the screenshots are showing you. So you get the idea. You can just import any of the custom columns in the version that you want, and it will just update and overwrite the one that you had previously. British pound, English language, there is also the Polish, Indonesian. This one is pretty like generic, it's English and no currency display, so you can use that in countries such as Romania, that I do not offer the specific language, the specific currency symbol, but yet this one is pretty universal. Well, let's just go over one more time to Japanese language. It's gonna be very neat looking, very compact. Right there, Japanese. The krona, the Swedish krona is very interesting because they don't have a symbol, it's just two words. That one comes with in English. So there you go, it's English, but it's the krona, so we have the amount followed by the symbol, which is the KR. Not the most creative, but it is what it is. My native Polish language also has ZL as the symbol for zloty, but yeah, that's how some of them are. Import, and now let's see how the British pound looks like. Okay, so last but not least, if you want to save this pricing plugin in your profile, you open up the manage columns, custom columns, and you scroll this section here all the way down to check mark, highlight it, click modify, hit OK, and now this button that says save to profile highlights, and you just click OK. And so now the next time you open Bluebeam your pricing plugin will be ready. You can work efficiently, quickly, any estimate. In most cases, in my case, it was about 70% of the time saved. So you can be very productive, very efficient, make a lot less mistakes than it is always the case with Excel. And this work will be just very satisfying. It's actually really fun to do takeoffs and do the pricing at the same time in Bluebeam. If you have any questions, please comment below or email me directly at info@bluebeamplugin.com. I'll try to answer to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching, hope you like this and you purchase this plugin at bluebeamplugin.com. Cheers.